Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome, and welcome, Chrissy. I'm so excited to hold space with you and be together and especially with this subject that we love so much, right?
Long time no see, my dear friend.
Way too long, way too no see for sure. So, those of you who are joining, Chrissy and I were really drawn to each other. Just the universe kind of just magically drew us together a couple of years ago. We had this incredible connection. We sat next to each other in this beautiful class, this beautiful training, and we just like our energies were just so in harmonium together, right, Chrissy?
Yeah, it was as if I always sat next to you in the first row of the Access Consciousness CF training, and
Always.
all these lovely goodies, and we had such a laugh. There was
We
this
did.
immediate, and that's what I love about people, where you can just laugh about the same things. It's like I think something, and you
Yeah.
spoke it out, and vice versa, and I'm like, "Who are you?"
Exactly. It was just one of those
So
things.
much fun.
And we had so much fun and we've collaborated a few times. We've done some fun calls together and I just love your energy so much, Chrissy. And one of the many contributions that you really be in this reality, in this world, is just an invitation to elegance. For me, I I I've come to kind of be so inspired by even something as simple as your social media. Like your social media is so inviting to me. It feels so luxurious. It feels so inviting. It feels so warm and just exciting. And I thought, wow, this is really Chrissy's energy.
Oh
And
wow!
with you,
If I hadn't blushed on, I would be blushing. like like the puppy up here. I would be
exactly.
laughing. And it's so funny because I could just say exactly the same about your social media. You are so inviting, and you're so much more disciplined with your daily downloads. And I just love them because, like, your creatives, your graphics, and I'm, oh my god, I really have to turn it up. Wow, this is amazing. And now you're saying it about me. It's just so interesting how and there is a big difference between envy and
Yep,
admiration. You know what
absolutely.
they say about people who admire you? They're usually the ones that have it themselves.
That's right.
Big difference.
Exactly.
Big
Isn't
difference.
that so? That's a beautiful place for us to start our
Yeah.
conversation today. We are living in a day and age where social media kind of shoves everything in your face,
Yeah.
right? And exactly, and people we have become so kind of numb, if you will, to people showing off their life and their lifestyles,
Yeah.
much of which is probably not even authentic or real, right? But we've
Mm.
really bought into that reality and we have really juxtaposed that with this feeling of not being enough, right? Or not sharing enough or not having enough or always feeling like somebody else's world is better than ours, and that sense of energy that is cultivated when people are trapped in that only creates more of that sense of lack and that sense of not having, right?
And the self-judgment. And
Yes.
and at the moment where you are looking at what everybody else is doing, you're going, oh my God, and that person is this and that person is that. Where do you put the value? You put it outside of you. And
So
I mean,
true.
if I've had quite a few sort of also certified facilitators who said, I don't even look at social media because I would have to POC and clear and delete and destroy and uncreate so many self-judgments, so many judgments about somebody else, so many points of view that
Yes,
I would just be POCing myself all the time.
that's
And
right.
when do you usually do that? When you're sitting on the toilet, when you're actually just before you go to bed, as you're waking up. Do you wake up and what is the first thing that you do? Do you turn on the social media?
Yeah,
Or do
exactly.
you have a self-reflection? You do just go, oh wow, great. Who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures can I have today? So that's how I wake up.
That
And
is
it's
such
a beautiful
invitation.
day. Yeah.
I roll over and I snuggle my really, really hot, amazing man.
Yeah.
And
That.
And I start going into like, wow, I am so lucky. Like, I am
Yeah.
so lucky. And then I look out the window and I'm like, holy crap, I manifested this life. I live in this beautiful Amsterdam, this beautiful city in Europe.
Mm.
I start to cultivate and create that sense of acknowledging
Mm.
what I've created in my life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, when we are allowing ourselves to kind of be that space of gratitude, it's one of these, it's one of the five elements of intimacy, right? The five elements of intimacy, and also of creation, of co-creation.
Totally. And isn't it all a little miracle? So I actually compared lists. I started off with writing a gratitude list, and it was amazing how much sort of
Yeah,
started rolling out into it. And once you come to 100 things that you can be grateful for, whatever it is,
yeah,
then and then I compared it to a miracle list, and all of a sudden the miracle list was far greater. So let's face it, whatever you put your focus on, that's what's going to grow. So you can wake up and say, okay, problem. Oh no, and oh my God, another invoice. Or you say, wow, a miracle. This person has actually given me an amazing service and has invoiced me only that small amount. So that is a miracle. So you can look at it in two different ways and look at many things in two different ways. And I tell
right.
you what, I think you might have a book on your next to your
I
book
do.
that
Do
has
I do?
loaded my life.
This one is a game changer.
Yeah.
This book is a game changer. For those of you who are tuning in, this is called The Right Riches for You, Right Riches for You. And it's by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here, founder of Access Consciousness. And this book is full of potency, full of ways for you to change your consciousness around money. And that is actually why I invited Chrissy here, because
Yeah.
Chrissy is going to offer this class. She is a Right Riches for You facilitator. So she is going, which is very special. There aren't very many Right Riches for You facilitators in the world right now. She's going to be offering an incredible class, a 6-week call, a 6-week class based on this book and based on the tools that she's learned from Right Riches for You. Chrissy, why don't you tell them a little bit about the class? And I'm going to go ahead and post here the information for the class, okay?
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, first of all, for inviting me. And it's just really, really exciting because it just already brought up some more ideas about new co-creations between you and I.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. It was about 3 years ago now that I had put the ask out, okay, you know, we have the Right Riches for You book. What would it take to have a Right Riches for You class around it? And it used to be there a long time ago, and then they stopped it. And then I was asking for it, okay. And then all of a sudden there was other people who were asking for it as well.
Yeah.
And it is actually a 2.5-day class that is either held live over a weekend or during a 6-week program, which is what I chose, which is an online program. And you have a whole workbook to go with it, a manual. And of course, it would be beneficial if you had read the book beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
The Tools of Right Riches. And let's face it, the title is very cheeky, isn't it? It's like,
Very cheeky.
Riches for You. What's that all about? And what is riches? Why is it right riches? What is it for you? And that's exactly why Gary chose this title, because it really wants to sort of, you know, poke you in your tummy or whatever and go, what is this all about? And already that title is giving me goosebumps, because what is riches?
Yeah.
What is wealth?
Riches? That's right.
Is it all about money? Is it about you buying into all this financial reality right now? You know, everybody's going, yeah, there is an economic depression, and that's how much your money is worth. And everybody's already, by reading that, buying themselves into it. Let's face it, I mean, is that your reality as well? Are you turning around every penny and going, okay, shall I buy this? Shall I not? And how much are you making money, the source, before you choose something? And shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah. Wow. That's a hard one for people to get, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what the whole class is all about. It's about your self-judgments, your judgments about other people, how many people are envious about somebody who has more money than them.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said before, is it envy or is it admiration? And admiration is when you admire someone. Like, I admire you for living in this amazing street in Amsterdam. I shall come over anytime soon.
Exactly.
Then, you know, when you admire someone, then you can actually not only do or be it yourself, you're already being it. It's just something that is sleeping that you can really bring up by stopping your self-judgments and making yourself less than other people.
Yeah, and also, you reminded me too, one of the ways that I kind of transformed this, because I really, really was one of those people that would look at the world, and I did competition a lot, right? I used to love competition, like, oh, you're so successful in that area. Well, watch me do this and here and watch me do that. And
What? You?
oh my, I know. Can you believe it? Oh my
No
God.
way.
Yeah, seriously, totally. But it was
Crazy.
internal, right? I was not like I didn't boast about it, like I didn't put it in people's faces, but I would literally to myself be like, okay, well, I have to get a better agent than that person, and I have to, get a better contract, and I used to do this game with me. And I have to tell you, when I started to learn the tools of access, I started to look at this, asking the question, what would it take for me to outcreate that? Right? This is one of my favorite questions. Outcreation is not about competition. It's about having what it is and making whatever it is that is your own even
Mhm.
greater and greater and greater in your reality. And when I started to look at at collaboration also instead of competition, when I started to look at out creation instead of competition, my whole world changed so much. And those are the tools that are in this class that Chrissy is going to offer to every single one of us that's going to take this class. I can't.
Yeah, and in fact, I love playing with words. The
Yeah,
same way as, the title is already a bit of a cheeky bugger. It should
yeah,
actually provide well for you, because that's what
yeah,
it's all about. It's all about the difference between wealth and riches, and the difference between some rich people who have to have 31 Ferraris, if you have 30 Ferraris, who are into this sort of competition thingy.
yeah,
You can lose money, you can lose all your money, but you can never lose wealth. And what is wealth? Wealth is, where I live at Lake Tegernsee in Bavaria, 3 flip-flop minutes down the road to the lake shore, to the lakefront, and just sitting there and listening to the gurgling of the water. That
yeah,
to me is wealth. And
right.
nobody can take that away from you. So in this class, you're learning the difference. You're learning to tap into the energy of the true wealth in your life, but also willing to have money rather than wanting money, because as we know, want means to lack. In
Relax.
very old Webster's British English dictionary, you find 10 definitions or even more, and most of them are about, oh, I want this, I want that, I would like to, I wish I could, I have. That's pushing it away from you and keeping it at arm's length from yourself, because that's what the universe is taking and giving you whatever you are going for. If you're willing to be money and to have money, then that's what the universe is delivering you. So we're looking at all the judgments, or your own limitations about that. And what
Yeah,
you were saying earlier on about that competition, you had to compete with that inside you. Oh, I got to do it better. It did ping you in one way, it poked you in one way or the other. But it was
absolutely.
just an inspiration to out-create yourself. So you already did it, but it
Yep.
was a different way of wording it. And that already changes the energy of so many things. When you're looking at the words you're using, for example, around money.
Yeah. It's so amazing. You're reminding me also of so many of those beautiful invitations from the Right Riches class that, there's so many tools. There's so many tools. I often find I will forget them, so to speak, and they come up at just the right time. Like I said to you before we even started, I have this book beside my bed, and every once in a while I'll just like open it and be like, I will ask the universe. I'll be like, well, what would be a contribution to me? Like, what can I receive here? And then I'll open it and I'll be like, oh, using questions in your business. Isn't that
Isn't it the
interesting?
power of just opening up a book and just exactly what the universe wanted you to read?
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
Chrissy, you're doing this experience in a very different way, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
So yes, there are the live classes, and we
mhm,
know that there's so many people who have so many things going on, and in a way, when you're spreading the class out across 6 weeks,
yeah,
maybe Tuesday first, the first evening would be 2 hours, and then the other following Tuesdays will be 90 minutes. And
perfect.
then you get the possibility, you have the chance to play with that specific tool or with
Yeah,
those specific tools that are on that evening throughout the week. And then obviously there is a group, and then you can exchange everything in the group. It's like, oh, I found this, I found that. So everybody will be contributing to each other throughout the week. And then you have the next call, and then you can talk about all those things and move on in the manual. And I'm actually finding that quite even more intense, because then
yeah.
it's spread out across 6 weeks, and you have this full class across 6 weeks, and it's really quite amazing. It's to me, it was a total game changer. It exploded my business in many different ways,
Yeah.
way beyond money, including
Yeah,
money, beyond money.
exactly. You know what I love too about what I hear you saying as well
Yeah.
is this feels so nurturing in that it feels like a real workshop type experience, right?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
gonna come, they're gonna get roughly 90 minutes, 2 hours the first one. You're gonna get a dose of this energy. And also, guys, just so you know, if you've never taken an Access Consciousness class, one of the biggest contributions the Access classes offer us are clearings, energetic clearings,
Yes.
right? And so Chrissy is going to actually, she has a gift of being able to perceive and facilitate any kind of judgments or any
Mhm.
kind of blockages that you may have in your reality, whether it be around money in this particular situation, wealth, or any of those things. All of that stuff is actually going to come to the surface in the class. And what Chrissy has the ability and the gift to do is to clear that energy. We know everything is just energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Totally.
so I honestly, it's not about just coming to this class to learn something. It's about coming to this class to create something different. And that's one of the gifts I think we can't, Chrissy and I can tell you how great the class is, but every single one of them is going to be so different. Isn't it true, Chrissy?
Oh,
It's like,
totally. And it all very much depends on the questions that the
yeah,
participants are asking. So it's all about, you mentioned the 5 elements of intimacy earlier on, which are honoring, trust, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude, and
yeah,
vulnerability, which
vulnerability.
basically, I mean, all of these are kind of interacting with each other, also with yourself, and first and foremost with yourself. So before
Exactly.
you can't honor yourself and be in allowance with yourself and trust yourself and be grateful for whatever you have created up until now. And most importantly, the vulnerability, which doesn't mean that you have to sit there and cry all evening. I mean, which you can if that's what you want, but the
Yeah,
vulnerability means I have this topic, and this was what keeps coming up in my life, and especially around business, around money, around whatever.
yeah,
What is this, and what do I have to do to change it, for example? And so when people are asking me, and that's the beauty about access consciousness ways of facilitating, when people ask me, what do you do for a living? I always say, I ask people questions to make their lives easier and to bring
oh,
more joy into their lives. This is what it's all about. We're not clearing with words. With access consciousness tools, and especially with the clearing statement, for those who do not know access consciousness yet, and we can put in the link for the clearing statement maybe.
mhm,
We are clearing the energy that is lying underneath a problem, a topic, a situation. And that might be something completely different to what you think cognitively, what it could be. He left me, he took all the money, I had to pay him out, I had to pay her out. But then the energy might be something totally different. And that's the beauty about it, because then it's like this big house of cards. You pull
mhm.
out the bottom card, and the whole house falls down.
Falls down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so, so powerful too. And again, I don't think there are not words that actually can kind of put it into place. It's something you have to experience it for yourself. I put the link to the Access Consciousness website. And on the Access Consciousness website, it will take you to the clearing statement itself. Or you can just visit
Clearingstatement.com.
exactly the
Yeah.
clearingstatement.com, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
what
so
if, yeah, exactly. So what if what if instead of having a conclusion about the problem, that whatever the next step might be, especially when we take the conclusion, the whole money topic.
Yeah.
What if with a question, you could open up a totally different universe, which is not a closed question like yes or no. Will I have more money? Yes. Okay, great. So, but it's like, okay, what would it take for me to create 10 more income streams within the next month?
Right.
And that's it. And not looking for an answer, because it's a universe. It's your intuition, whatever it is. It's the energy that you are putting out. And that, as much as many other tools, are actually included in the Right Riches for You book, which you can order on all the usual platforms like Amazon and whatnot. Or you can actually get the audio if you don't want to read. And then the class is 10 times, manifold times the energy of the actual book, because then you're working with the energy of you, with your topics, with the topics of everybody else. And that's the beauty about it. And it really is a very closed circle. So everybody who is in this class, it's within this group. It's nothing that goes outside. I mean, you have the recordings, you can listen to it again. And every single time you listen to it again, it will change something else.
So exciting. So on that note, shall we leave them with a little tool to play with until they come to your class?
Oh, yes. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. And you also, and because you mentioned this beautiful tool of asking questions, right? So let me just ask you, when you ask a question, what do I do with that question?
Nothing, you leave it. The universe will give you the next impulse, for example.
Gives you the awareness, the answer, if that's what it is. It brings it to you, right? I just have to say for myself, who knew that asking questions would create such freedom in one's life, you know? And it is probably one of the biggest, the tools that has been one of the biggest contributions to me in every way, shape, and form. And so, Chrissy, I think you have a special one for them. Yeah?
Yeah, I do. And there's a difference between asking a real question or asking a question, asking a conclusion with a question mark attached, which obviously is something completely different. But then that's also something that is part of this course. Right. So if I leave you with this question here now, just let it sink in. Don't try and find an answer, because everything will just bubble up from that gut feeling, from that intuition, from that knowing, that awareness that everybody has. And that is actually the tagline of Access, empowering people to know that they already know. Yes. So it's not about having a guru or whatever. It's empowering you to know what you know. And that's what all these classes are all about. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Yeah. But then it's not the comfort that gets you further. It's the uncomfort that gets you further. So let me ask that question. If time and money weren't an issue, what would you choose?
Oh, I'm putting it in the chat box for everybody.
Yeah. If time and money were not an issue,
what
would you choose?
If time and money were not an issue, what would you choose? Wow. Just ask the question.
Basically, the underlying thingy, are you putting money first before you choose, or are you choosing first?
Yeah.
Choice creates, and money is an energy that follows your choices.
That's right.
That.
Wow. Thank you so much for this space.
This is amazing. Wow.
It's amazing. And I'm very excited. I mean, I think that every single time I take this class, it's like, wow, my money reality goes like expands beyond. So I wonder what it will create for all of these amazing choosers that are choosing it. Just to refresh, it begins on Tuesday, the 11th.
Yes, right? At 8 p.m. Central European Time.
Great. 8 p.m. Central European Time.
And then every Tuesday, and the last Tuesday will be the 16th of July.
Right.
And of course, there is recordings for every single evening that we're having this class at. So even if you cannot attend, you can post listen, you can take the tools, and obviously there's also the mentioning of pages on the workbook and stuff.
Yep.
And
also, by the way, those of you that are in the US that are listening from the US, that's actually 2 p.m. your time. So it's a great time. It works for you as well. So it's right in the middle of the day. And even further, if you're in Los Angeles, it's to 1, 12, 11 a.m.
Or in Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever you are, if this resonates with you, I encourage you to choose it. Visit Chrissy's website, chrissydorn.com.
Yeah.
And
forward events, and you will find it. And and also there are absolutely no prerequisites. So even if you've never heard of Access Consciousness before, money makes a workaround. So let's have everybody participate who really wants to know more about money. And this is not about how am I going to invest what amount into where. It's something about completely different. It's about being the energy of money, being the energy of riches, being the energy of wealth. And the book will give you a little introduction to this.
Create a lot more for you, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Wow, Chrissy, thank you so much, my dear.
I'm in class now.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Have a wonderful day, an incredible weekend. And thank you to everyone who has been watching, past, present, and future. We look forward to meeting you in this reality in some time and space, whether it's online or in person. And thank you for being here. Thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you in Amsterdam.
I cannot wait.
Yay!